Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Sandeep Pednekar, and you're watching One Universe, the talk show based on the nonprofit One Universe that fosters positivity through the promotion of love, peace, and harmony. And to talk about this positivity through the promotion of love, peace, and harmony, I am visiting Puerto Rico, my friend here, Chin Yao, and we are going to talk to him about the positivity that he's spreading not only in Puerto Rico, which he has already done, but he is now continuing to do it all over the globe. And we are going to get into the nitty gritty of all of that. But first, for the benefit of our listeners, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sandeep. Honor and grateful to be here with you.
Of course, it's my honor.
And so I'm, Chinese American, born in Southern California, and lived between Los Angeles, Houston, back to LA, Boulder, Colorado, and afterwards, kind of worked in Chicago and Singapore and San Francisco and you know, Shanghai, China. But I guess my background, I studied finance and international business.
Okay.
Um, First job out of college was, corporate finance in a Fortune 100 company.
Very nice.
And then started my first company a few years out of college. Um, and then from there, most of my career has been in investments and just startups. For most of my career. Um, After I worked for a ultra high net worth family, helping him look at early stage tech investments, and was actively involved in looking at early stage tech investment opportunities and stepping in as an interim CFO or head of corp dev for a lot of tech startups. And then afterwards, moved to Shanghai, where I started up a multifamily office fund focused on investing in, let's say early stage, mid stage tech,
Okay.
cross border U.S. and China, and yeah. And while there, I had also just helped incubate and started up some other entertainment and media related companies.
Wow.
And
Well, that is pretty diverse.
Yeah.
Nice.
And from there, one day I met a friend of a friend at a tech conference who told me about Puerto Rico. I came to, visit, fell in love with the amazing, beautiful nature
It
of the
sure is
island.
beautiful, yes.
And I met a lot of beautiful people and decided, you know what, yeah, this is beautiful. And that's what brought me to Puerto Rico. And initially I was kind of going back and forth between here and Shanghai, China.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's a little bit of background about.
Very nice, very nice, very good. And so I'm impressed with you having finance background. And where did you study that?
I college was at University of Colorado Boulder.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have attachments to Boulder and Denver. But I'm so glad to hear that. And so after coming to Puerto Rico, what were the things that you have been doing?
Hmm. So when I moved to Puerto Rico, you can say I had a little bit of a spiritual acceleration. I would call
Okay.
it. And Shanghai is one of the most fastest paced cities in the world. And it's a city that doesn't sleep. It's 24/7. It's kind of like the analogy is like New York times 10. And
Okay.
but then moving to Puerto Rico, had an opportunity to connect with nature and disconnect, and really think, what is life really about? Is life really about just focused on continue to make a little bit more money so then you can buy a nicer car and then buy a nicer house, then make some more money, buy a nicer car, nicer house, and continue that cycle forever? And I came to realization, at least for me, my purpose now is how do I achieve my highest self,
Mm.
do to become the best version of me that I can, and at the same time accomplish the greatest good. And so I think that is what my purpose, and I think all of our purposes in life is. And so it started with, well, if I'm going to accomplish my greatest good, why don't I start here?
Mm-hmm.
And what can I do to accomplish that? So I started by really getting to meet a lot of local community leaders, business leaders, and asking them, what are the biggest issues on the island? And as I interviewed and talked to people, I found out, well, food security was a key issue because our island, we import 85% of all the food that the island consumes.
Mm-hmm.
So with earthquakes and hurricanes, supply chain disruption, the whole island is at risk.
Mm.
Number two is education, because 50% of the island is in poverty, and there's a dropout rate of 50% between kindergarten and 12th grade. And so therefore, it was, these two were kind of big issues that I found that most of the people on the island had concerns about.
Mm.
So I started researching and looking for solutions to food security and education, and how do we, create positive change in these areas. And then during this time frame, all of a sudden, Hurricane Fiona hit in about 2022 in fall. And at that point in time, one of the first things I did is I called a lot of the agroecological organic farmers I knew on the island.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you guys doing? Do you guys need some help? And pretty much every single one of them said, we do need help. But they said, could you please go help Naya in Lajas? She's a agroecological farmer in Lajas, and she lost everything that she owns.
Mm.
So we organized our first Puerto Rico I Love You WhatsApp group chat. We brought 20 friends and friends of friends. We brought chainsaws, we brought machetes, and we went there early in the AM. We helped and cut and clear debris, salvage crops. And by lunchtime, Naya's like, oh my God, Jen, this is amazing. Would have taken my one employee and I 45 days to do what you guys did in one morning. And then that same day, because right after the hurricane, a lot of people don't have electricity. If they don't have
Right.
electricity,
Mm-hmm.
then you don't have hot food. So separately, we organized a soup kitchen in Cabo Rojo, feeding 380 elders.
Wow.
Then that same day, right after lunch with Naya, we went to a neighboring town called Hormigueros, because Hormigueros had been 6 feet underwater.
Ooh.
And so a lot of people had lost everything they owned. And so we walked the streets handing out food, water, clothing, donations. Then that same afternoon, we took a portion of that team, went to Ponce. These two elderly ladies had called seeking help. I remember the first lady, the second floor of the house had been blown away the first day of the storm, and the grandmother passed away the first day of the
Oh.
storm.
Oh no.
The uncle was terminally ill, and he was on an oxygen support machine in a shed in the backyard, and he passed away later that week. And then now you had a recently widowed single mom who now had 3 funerals on her hand,
Yeah.
on a low income salary. And then the mother was still living in the house, and it looked like the roof was going to collapse at any point in time. You could smell the sewage had overrun. But this was day one of Puerto Rico I Love You.
Mm.
We've since changed the name to Amo PR, which means Puerto Rico I Love You. But you can imagine. So this was day one. And from that day, we were just, every week, we would be calling around and looking for what are the hardest hit communities in need, who are the hardest hit families, and how do we help people get back on their feet and help people help themselves, right? So from that day, we continued to organize. Early on, when there was no electricity, we were organizing some of these soup kitchens, and bringing local communities together and we would organize those soup kitchens with local farmers and educate the local communities on the importance of supporting the local agroecological
Okay.
farmers. Then we continued to organize volunteer brigades to help the struggling agroecological farmers in need. And then that second weekend, I remember we got a call from a one of the lowest income communities in Ponce, and the community leader called and asked for help. And I asked, what do you need help with? And he's like, well, you know what? We really need help with installing the tarps on all the roofs because everybody's roof is leaking. I said, okay, sure. Never installed a tarp in my life, but went onto YouTube, how do you install a tarp? And we called some contractor friends that, do you know how to install tarps? And so we went to go install tarps. Then after we did that for a few weeks, we started to realize, well, shoot, it's great that we're helping people mitigate their roofs, but the tarps are very temporary. And how do we do something more permanent and lasting that would require replacing the roofs or, patching the roofs, and we're going to need more money. So we just called around and asked some friends and family to donate a little bit more funds. And so by doing that, we were able to, from then on, we just focused on repairing and replacing roofs instead of installing tarps because it was more permanent. So we've continued to, every week since Hurricane Fiona, we continue to organize brigades in those three key areas. One is food security, it's hurricane relief, disaster recovery, and then education has kind of been a newer area that now we started to launch focus now that we're out of the disaster relief, peak. But, and so on the food security side, we do everything from organizing brigades to help struggling agroecological farmers. We have a internship program with the University of Puerto Rico, Mayagüez, the agricultural college, where we help put interns into agroecological farms throughout the island. We have a technology that we've incubated through a local entrepreneur that actually helps the fruits and vegetables grow faster, quicker. And now we're in the process of setting up community gardens around the island. In the hurricane relief, disaster recovery, we already kind of talked about what we're doing. And then education side, where there's many new initiatives we're working on in education, but where it includes teaching financial literacy to the youth to get them out of poverty. But since Fiona, it's been about 180 weeks now. And during these 180 weeks, we've organized over 200 missions.
Wow.
We've helped mitigate over 145 roofs in 54 different municipalities. We've helped over 33 agroecological farmers with over 1,700 days of free donated labor. And
wow.
So this is what we did.
That is phenomenal.
Over these last 3.5 years.
Very good. Very nice.
And then this last year, one of the things that struck us is, well, I remember thinking back last year that, after Hurricane Maria, there was so much devastation on the island. But on the other hand, there were so many beautiful stories of, neighbors selflessly helping neighbors, strangers selflessly helping strangers, and the beautiful hearts of Puerto Ricans all were shown. And then fast forward to today, like a year ago, and I was thinking, well, now we have a situation where, the youth are on their cell phones the whole time. We've got there's an elderly care crisis, and many elderly are living at home alone, waiting for caregivers because there's not enough caregivers. And you have this significant disconnection happening. And, with that significant human disconnection, I asked myself, well, do we have to have a disaster and devastation to bring people back for kindness? How do we bring kindness and human connection back to everyday life? And so we decided to create a pay it forward week. Okay. And to have a week of kindness. And we called that Pasalo Palante, which means pass it forward or pay it forward. And so the objective was to create a week of kindness to inspire the goodness that is inherent in everyone to come out and remind us all of our essence, which is love, and that we are all interconnected in one. To unite everyone, irregardless of politics, irregardless of religion, with low hurdle, random acts of kindness. And so in order to make kindness go viral, one of the first things we did is we created a kindness business card. The kindness business card said, Puerto Rico, I love you. Somebody did an act of kindness for you. Now, Pasalo Palante. And then the next thing we did is we created an original song, a music video, and the song was called Pasalo Palante. and it was made with the intentions to inspire people to go out and do acts of kindness. And then the music video was a chain reaction of kindness. It was I would do an act of kindness for Sandeep, Sandeep would do an act of kindness for Alicia, Alicia do an act of kindness for Lord. It was a chain reaction of kindness. And then from that, in order to make that song and MV go viral, we recruited 40 local Puerto Rican celebrities, influencers, famous athletes that were all heart-centered and help us amplify the message. They all joined as ambassadors for kindness. We put many of them in the music video, and they all did acts of kindness, encouraged their fans to do the same. They went on top TV shows, radio shows to kind of inspire the spirit of encouraging people to go out and do acts of kindness. Then the next thing we did is we spent 6 months to go meet all 78 mayors on the island. And all 78 mayors were inspired to join this movement, which was something very, very historic. And it was a great testimony for the love of the Puerto Rican people to show we can unite, irregardless of politics, around kindness. Then we were...
And this was when?
Oh, this was November 7th to November 11th of 2025.
Okay. So it has not even been an year.
Correct.
Okay.
And so then all the mayors, committed and joined, and then
So again, for the benefit of our listeners,
yeah.
Please describe what is an act of kindness.
Oh, sure. So the thing is, an act of kindness could be you could buy a lunch for the stranger in the line behind you, or buy a coffee for the person in the line behind you. Or it doesn't have to be anything monetarily. You can open a door for someone. You can help an elderly carry their groceries to the car. It could be giving somebody a hug. It could be anything. And so we actually have a music video on our Amo PR YouTube page called Pasalo, Palante, and you'll see that music video was essentially an educational campaign, or the anthem for this movement, and it showed all these different random acts of kindness you can do that does not cost money. And and so then one of the things that happened is we were so grateful that, on one hand, I remember at the time there was some significant bullying happening in the school system.
Okay.
And
which happens everywhere.
Which happens all around the world, right? But I remember hearing about it in the news. And so then we were able to get an appointment with the Secretary of Education. And after, I talked to the Secretary of Education and said, look, the only way we can combat bullying is with kindness. And the Secretary of Education was inspired, and he obligated all 270,000 public school students, all the teachers, all the administrators, to create a week of kindness. They talked about what is kindness in school. The students had to do acts of kindness in school, hand the cards out. The teachers had to do acts of kindness and hand the cards out. Students had to go home for homework and do a couple of acts of kindness and hand the cards out, and then come back and talk about it. It was a historic situation for the Secretary of Education to put such a big kind of stamp of let's really help support making kindness go viral and have the educational system lead.
Very nice.
Then we're so grateful for all the media partners. Imagine, then we were on all the top TV radio stations. Office Depot came in and helped us print, 1.5 million cards. And
wow.
The Caribbean Cinema had every movie theater on the island showing our music video and promoting our public service announcements. We're on and then ultimately, you can imagine, on going from November 7th to November 11th, all this acts of kindness happening, people passing the cards out. We're on the top TV radio stations, and the radio's blasting the song, and then the movie theater showing the clips. Then on November 11th at 11 a.m. and 11 minutes, the largest billboard company called B Media, 100% of their billboards around the island were all saying Pasalo, Palante. And in that moment. And so with that, we were able to inspire a world record of inspiring over 1 million, 1.1 million registered acts of kindness. And Yeah, it was.
So, and it can be one person doing multiple acts as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just really, if a person, we ask people to be sincere on what can you sincerely do, what are you sincerely committing to, and they,
Without expecting anything back.
without expecting anything in return. Exactly. And then the other beautiful thing is we, and why kindness is important. Like, I remember watching a Wayne Dyer video. If I do an act of kindness for you, your serotonin levels increase, your immune response system increases. Then me as the giver, my serotonin levels increase and immune response system increase. But what was amazing that I found out is not only that, but all of the observers of that act of kindness, their serotonin level increases and their immune response system increases from one act of kindness. And so now imagine with 1.1 million acts of kindness, you could have 5, 10 million like impacts. And then besides that, what was also beautiful about this movement, one of the things we did is we wanted to scientifically validate the movement. So we partnered with the HeartMath Institute. And the HeartMath Institute, their whole focus is to elevate consciousness in the world, and they do it through scientific validation. Okay, and so they have a global consciousness project where they've set up global consciousness devices all around the world. And what are these global consciousness devices? They're really just a little mini computer that generates random numbers. Now, what was interesting about this HeartMath Institute and the global consciousness devices is I remember there was a famous, there was a biker, professional biker named Dr. Joe Dispenza, who got in a car accident, broke his vertebrae into 100 parts.
Yeah, I know, doctor.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah.
And, when doctors all told him, you're never going to walk again.
Yeah.
He refused to believe that. He went deep into, and what he found is there's a certain breathing and meditation technique where you can get into what's called heart-brain coherence. And when you get into this heart-brain coherence, which is at a 0.1 hertz frequency, all of a sudden your body gets out of the fight or flight mode, the vagus nerve is tripped, and all of a sudden your body feels totally safe and it starts to be regenerating and healing. And getting into this heart-brain coherence, your heart is actually emitting an energetic field. You could say a magnetic or energetic field. And what the HeartMath Institute found is when you get a critical mass of people coming together in a highly elevated emotion, such as love and peace, that critical mass of coherence of those people can create a shift in the energetic field locally and potentially in the world. And so they followed Joe Dispenza around for a couple years and tracking his events, and what they found was absolutely astonishing. Like, every single time, like at his events, it's always sold out, and there's 2,000 people coming together. And one of the first things they do is getting into this heart-brain coherence meditation. And when they do that, you have 2,000 people in a heart-centered space of love. And when that happens, every single time, all of a sudden, the random number generators are no longer generating random numbers. Okay, so the critical mass of, in this particular case, 2,000 people coming into a heart-centered space of love created a shift in the energetic field such that the random number generators at the location, at the event, and in the nearby city, and at sometimes around the world, are no longer generating random numbers. And so that they were able to scientifically show that somehow this critical mass of people in a highly elevated emotion of love creates a shift in the energetic field locally and in the world. And it's another thing, like there's the transcendental meditation people will tell you about the Maharishi effect. 10,000 monks came together in India. They did a meditation for peace. And then immediately after that, violence and crime decreased in India and also around the world. And this has been proven, 50, 100 plus times. It's not just a one-off experiment. So I mentioned that we wanted to scientifically validate our movement. So prior to November, we imported 10 of at the HeartMath Institute's recommendation, we imported 10 of these devices to create a cluster of devices on the island. And what's amazing, I wish I had the little chart I can show here on here. You can maybe show it, later. Is so we went on to remember I mentioned that peak moment that on November 11th at 11 a.m. 11 minutes. We maybe had less than 50 people on the island join a global meditation on 11/11 at 11/11. But that group of people doing this meditation for love and peace for Puerto Rico, combined with everything else happening, the billboards, the movie theaters, the radio, and all of that love and peace in the streets, somehow, then we decided to go on to the Heart Math Institute website, which has the data 24/7. And at 11:30, about 11:30 a.m. on November 11th, we took a screenshot, and on that screenshot, we saw that chart shows all these devices all around the world, and all of those devices
map everything.
Yeah, it's a map of the world, and it has a small dot is like each device, and then if you have a big circle, that's like a cluster of devices, and then what it showed at that point in time is, and then the legend showed pink is normal network coherence, blue is elevated, orange is high, yellow is very high, white is extremely rare, and the highest measurable network coherence possible. And so at 11:30 a.m. when we took the screenshot, most of the world was pink, but Puerto Rico was a big white circle, which showed that that's the highest measurable network coherence, and because there's such a critical mass of love here in Puerto Rico. So that is what we did last year, and now.
So now, and you got good feedback. Obviously, this scientific thing in itself is a big feedback.
Yeah.
But you got feedback from individuals and other organizations.
Yeah.
And now you said that is not enough. And you decided to go bigger.
Yeah.
So please tell us about that.
Sure. So, after, we after going deep into meditation in January, just, and looking at the world events and seeing war and teen depression and hopelessness, and we right now are the most digitally connected age in the history of the world, but we're also the most humanly disconnected. And so with that in mind, and from meditation, it came out that the world needs this right now. And so that's what we're doing, and we decided we are going to take this global. And and the objective is to, like I mentioned earlier, inspire the goodness that is inherent in everyone to come together, to remind us of our essence of love, and that we are all one and interconnected, and we're going to unite the world regardless of politics and religion, just for simple acts of kindness. And so the goal is to inspire over 1 billion acts of kindness in 200 countries around the world. In November, we're going to declare November as Global Kindness Month for the world. We are going to take the model we did in Puerto Rico and utilize that to inspire each country in the world.
Okay, so hang on one second.
Yeah.
I want our listeners to know November is the month.
Yeah.
From the 7th to the 11th.
Oh, so the whole month from November.
For the whole month.
Yeah.
It has to be done. Act of kindness. It can be a very, very small act. The reason I'm pausing here is because while you're listening, you should do some acts, many, many acts of kindnesses. There's no doubt about it. However, you have to share this video with others so that they can also do their acts of kindness. And I always talk about when we do good things, there has to be, people talk about a domino effect. I said, no, it has to be a ripple effect going in all directions.
Exactly.
And this is what you are doing too. So please note, we are going to talk about it, and Chin, of course, is going to talk more. But I wanted to pause so that everybody takes it very, very seriously and helps this wonderful friend of mine. So yeah, please continue.
Well, thank you. No, thank you. And like you said, if people could go to our website at pasalopalante.org, or if that's hard to remember, amopr.org, teamopr.org, And on the website, people can register and make the biggest commitment that you can for spreading love, compassion, and kindness for the world. You can register to commit 1 act of kindness for the whole month of November, 5 acts, or do 1 act of kindness each day. So that will be 30 acts of kindness. And your registration for committing to do an act of kindness will help us towards the Guinness Book of World Records of over 1 billion acts of kindness in 1 month for the world. And where were we? We were talking about, so our goal this year is to inspire over 1 billion acts of kindness in 200 countries around the world. We are going to take what the Secretary of Education did in Puerto Rico, utilize that to inspire the ministers of education in all 200 countries around the world. We're going to take the same model of, encouraging local media, local celebrities and influencers and famous athletes to join as ambassadors for kindness and partners for kindness to encourage everybody to go out and do acts of kindness. Right? We're looking to partner with other heart-centered organizations with strong local or global footprints to spread the word. And then the hope would be, by normally, I would say, when 99% of what we see in the media oftentimes is negative.
It is negative, yes.
What war is happening, crime and violence. We, the people, are going to change the narrative. We are empowered to change that narrative. Each person has the ability to change that narrative, because each person taking an action, being empowered to do an act of kindness, to encourage, and after each act of kindness, encouraging each person to go on and do another act of kindness for someone else, to make kindness go viral. Each of those actions creates a ripple. And so we're going to create a wave of ripples, a tsunami of love and compassion and kindness, and create a shift in consciousness
around the globe.
Because remember, we already showed, scientifically validated, when you get a critical mass of people in one location at a highly elevated emotion of love and peace, you can shift the energetic field locally and potentially in the world. Now imagine a critical mass of people in 200 locations all around the world, all in the month of November, at a same time frame. The amplification of all of that collective energy of love will create a shift in consciousness in the world.
And you will have these monitors also.
Well, they're already out.
Yeah.
You don't have to set up this network. The HeartMath Institute has all these global consciousness devices all over the world. So the hope will be, how do we get 200 white circles all around the world in November?
Go white.
That's right.
Not pink at all, but have to be white.
That's right.
And of course, I'm appealing to my viewers that your involvement is extremely necessary. And because you are viewers of my show, and that is what we promote, love, peace, and harmony, I want you to be a part and parcel of this whole thing. And we reach out to many people in many countries. So I know that my viewers are also going to be part and parcel of that, no matter what. Yeah. But I also want to do one thing, that we will, along with the video, we are going to share the website also in both languages, English, so that anybody can go and register.
Yes.
And so that indication will come and it will be live. So I want to do my part in enhancing all of this. And as I said already, I'm here to promote what you're doing because I'm thoroughly impressed with what you do. I am honored to be your friend, and you call me a friend, so I'm thoroughly honored. And we always see to it that we promote good deeds, good act, and this act of kindness. So we are living and breathing, and we want everybody to follow what you're doing. I would also appeal that it does not have to be limited to the month of November.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to act kindly with each and every single person because everybody needs it. We don't know what problems and issues and everything that people are going through. So everybody is going through something or the other. Our act of kindness can help somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah. But I do not want to add. What are the few things that you would like to add?
Well, yeah, just know that I think as I look around the world, I feel people feel hopeless, helpless, disempowered, and just in a just to remember that we have the ability to change the world. Like, look, world leaders, business leaders, they're busy with what they got going on. So we want to, as Gandhi said, be the change that we wish to see in the
Mm-hmm.
world. And so the power is in each one of us putting that intention and the action behind that intention, and collectively at a common time frame like November,
Mm-hmm.
when you put all of that energy collectively together all at the same time frame, we have the ability to change the world. And so that's what we're going to do. And yeah, and so I think, any way you can help is the one. It's as simple as just committing to do as many acts of kindness as you can in the month of November by registering on our website and then telling other people to Pasalo Palante or pay it forward. Two, we're looking for introductions to any local media, local celebrities, influencers, famous athletes, to other organizations that are heart centered, to departments of education, ministries of education, or join. The viewers can join us as ambassadors for kindness in their local country, all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, but these are ways that we all can, everybody can kind of participate.
Good. So all of these links links, not website links, but people in the community that Chin mentioned, I want you to use that in your communities and reach out to these people. It doesn't have to be the education minister or the Department of Education in whichever country, what you might call it. But you have to reach out to a school district, and say, hey, you know what? How about just one single school, my primary, elementary, whatever you might call it in your area, middle school, high school, colleges, universities, pass on that love. And I think that this will go on even well in colleges and universities, because youth are always looking to interact with each other, and this would help. So reach out to other people's, also to organizations, the company that you work or you used to work, the other companies that you reach out to, talk to them, their people, and say, hey, this is the month that we have to do that, and register on the website so that people in the world know where you are doing these acts of kindness, and just promote love, right?
Yes.
Okay. So as we end, last word.
No, just thank you. Grateful for the opportunity, for sharing. Thank you for what you're doing,
Thank you.
for humanity, and focused on just spreading love and compassion without expecting things in return. So really grateful
Yes.
for you.
Yes. The fact is that, because whenever you do something for somebody else,
Yeah.
again, you explained it, your serotonin level increases. And I always say that the joy you get when you do something for else is immeasurable. And do it for people who don't even know. I always talk on my show that, okay, you're doing somebody for your brother, sister, parents, uncle,
Yeah.
aunts, your family, extended family, your friends, your extended from your acquaintances. But the fact is that when you do it for somebody you don't even know,
Yeah.
the joy that you receive is immeasurable.
Yes.
And because I receive it right here,
Mm-hmm.
I keep on doing it
Yeah.
over and over again. And I appeal to everybody that you should do it too. Experience the joy. It is going to be phenomenal. So, with that, we definitely want to thank you. And Chin, thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Appreciate you.
ton. And ladies and gentlemen, you know that when you tune in to One Universe, the love, peace, and harmony, the positivity that we foster is given to you. I would appeal to you that you promote it on to others. And you can send us messages so that I can pass it on to Chin as well. That, hey, you know what? I received that love and I'm passing on all your love, guys, to Chin so that he can give it out in tons and tons to others as well. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming on our show once again.
Thank you.
Until next time, have a great time. And when you tune into our show, know that you're going to have a phenomenal time as well. This is your host, Sandeep Pednikar. If you need to reach out, you can call me or text me at 901 849 deep. That is 849 3337. Or you can write to us at sgp97 at hotmail.com. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye bye.